welcome in. I'm glad you are here. This is fun to get going again, and hell yeah, man. I'm stoked to have you on here.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me to be part of the revival of the BaddaBoom Room.
Yeah, dude, it's like the mafia buried it out in the backyard, and we got to dig it back up or something.
It's all right. I'll be the bada bing, the bada boom. It's cool.
There you go. Okay, so for those of my community that don't know you, you are a Twitch streamer. I would say it's safe to say you're a killer main in Dead by Daylight. Is that correct?
I do dabble in the killer ways. Yes.
You do.
One would say natural born killer.
Oh. Do you remember that movie, Natural Born Killers?
Oh yeah.
That was that created a lot of controversy back. Sorry, that's besides the point. But you made me think about it. Okay, so but is it safe to say that you're a killer main within the game of Dead by Daylight?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But do you also play Survivor?
Averagely, yes.
Averagely, okay. No, I can relate to that. That comment resembles me as well. So
I'm more so on the Survivor side. I like to meme and just like laugh. It's a break from the mental side of things of killer, where you're processing so much information that when I play Survivor, I can just literally goof off and not have any stress from that.
Yeah, that's definitely a different feel than when you're on the killer side and the other people are doing the goofing off. That's for sure. It can be very rough. Well, anyway, I wanted to give a shout out to your community that has come in. Hello to That1GuyD's community that's come in for the first time, and some of you are familiar faces as well, or at least familiar handles. That's a weird thing to say on Twitch, familiar face, but you know how it goes. But thank you for being here. I appreciate all of you. And so we'll get to it, but we know you've set some world records with 4K timings, etc., within the game of Dead by Daylight. But generally, when I do this, I want to take it back and to get to know you a little bit more, and maybe even answer some questions for your viewers that are in your stream all the time, but maybe they want to get deeper, they want to dig in a little bit. So let's start with the handle, That1GuyD. Let's talk about that.
So the original people from back when I first came back to streaming, the name used to be DAVLLOARM. It was the three first letters of my first, middle, and last name. And it was something I've used my entire life. And I just was thinking one day that I didn't feel that it was like, it was catchy, like if somebody said that, they're like, how do you even say this?
Can you spell it again? I want to type it down in the chat. I want to see it.
DAVLLOARM.
I feel like you made a wise decision.
It was ARM. So
AR, sorry. Gotcha.
No, you're fine. But the point being is like I felt to grow on Twitch, you look at the people that are big. They've got that name that just kind of flows, right? It kind of just comes off the tongue right. And I didn't feel that did. So for my purposes, I felt like, okay, what do I want to be branded as? Like, what's something funny, but like people could easily say? And I was like, everybody knows that one guy, and I've always referred to myself as I just refer to myself as a guy playing a guy killing other guys, you know what I mean, or other dudes, So
you sound like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropical Thunder.
And that's where that comes from. It's a spin off that. So,
oh really? Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, that's such an underrated movie. But I felt That1GuyD, and I chose the D because my name is David, and I was just like, let's go with it.
So do you go by Dave or David?
So most of my life I've gone by David, but as I've entered adult life, I have more and more people that call me Dave.
Gotcha.
So I respond to either one. And if people know me from Twitch, they call me D.
Gotcha. So if we're getting coffee at like TwitchCon, I can say Dave and it's going to be smooth, better than David.
To be honest with you, neither one would bother me.
Okay.
I would be like, hey, yo, what's up, Tony?
Yeah, I feel like Dave is pretty hello, David. Are you?
Yeah, if you call me, my best friends call me Dave or D. So that just kind of puts in perspective.
Oh, Sammy calls you David because I'm also looking at the chat here, so.
Sammy calls me David because she's actually in real life personal friend. So
gotcha.
She knows me as a human being, not just the Twitch streamer or the casual. Hey, what's up, Dave?
Right, not the mysterious person behind the camera playing a game.
Nah,
gotcha.
Man.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like you guys had an intense connection. I can tell by the interaction, the respect that is there.
So I mean, just inside look to mine and Sammy's dynamic. We met when I was in a hard time in my life, going through a divorce.
I see.
And then it kind of helped me like venting on that part while she was newly married. So she actually worked for me. I was her boss, and I hope this doesn't put her on the spot, but I was one of the first people to ever tell her good job.
Oh wow! It like, not to make it about Sammy, but like ever.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Roger that, Sammy.
So because of that, I was able to train her as a manager because I worked in the food industry for a long time, and developed her. And she's pretty much me in a girl's body, like the way she thinks. So I pretty much made her like a mini from a restaurant perspective. And she's done very, very well and very, very driven and done a great job. So that's where our connection comes. It comes from work and then me developing her, and then, you know, obviously building a friendship off that. And then now she's, you know, my mod. So
gotcha. Well, that's ooh, it's a little pause right here for the Taru raid. I appreciate the raid. So is it safe to say that Sammy's also a natural born killer? I'm assuming it is.
No, she plays Survivor.
No, I meant since you trained her overall, like
natural born killer.
Like that's funny. Thanks for the raid. I appreciate it. What you've come into is we've brought the BaddaBoom Room back, which is basically a set of streamer interviews, and we're here live with That1GuyD. Here's his link, by the way. I have this ready to go. If you're curious who we're talking to, the link is right there. Obviously, if you're from my community and you haven't gone over to Dave's stream, you can head over there and click on that and show him some love. But thank you for the raid. I do appreciate it. I'm not ignoring you, but I do want to continue with my guest. So, okay, we're gonna come back to food industry because that is kind of like part of my questions. But let's talk about how many moons have gone by here. What are you as old as me? We get pretty close. Where are you at?
I am 31.
31. Okay, I guess I got some time on you. The big 3-1.
I'm curious. How old are you, Tony?
I'm 42.
Are you really?
I am.
Well, I'll tell you what. Them Italian jeans looking pretty good.
That's funny. It's all the Jägermeister and you know, other things that, you know, whiskey.
It's okay. I drink tequila, so I get it.
Man, I can't. The tequila has gone. Sammy, it's true. I can't do tequila. There was the last time I had it there was someone dressed up as a gorilla in Mexico with ammo belts around their waist with tequila shots. They kicked me in the back of the knee and just forced all these shots down my throat. While I love Mexico and Mexico loves me, I just can't do tequila anymore. It just doesn't work with me, man. It just doesn't work.
I can't drink Jose Cuervo anymore.
Oh, okay.
So that puts in perspective.
Well,
yeah.
Well, if I was buying you a bottle, what would you be asking for?
Do you want the expensive choice or do you want the relatively inexpensive?
I want to know what That1GuyD choice is.
Asombroso, the Rosé Reposado.
And how much does that bottle run?
A couple $100.
Oh shit. That's funny. Oh man. Someone says, D, tell Tony how you were freaking out at a gray hair with a smiley.
Yeah, I have a point. I mean, there's no way to hide this. I have one gray hair in the middle of my mustache that sticks out, and it was the first one I noticed, and I'm like, what do I do?
You embrace it is what you do. You embrace that little bastard and let it come in. That's funny. All right, so we know you like tequila. We know you're the big 3-1. So what I'm a Leo. What are you?
Virgo.
You're a Virgo.
I'm actually like a Virgo cusp, I guess is what it's called.
Wait, what does that mean?
It means that my birthday is so close to the next sign that I exhibit traits from both sides.
Oh.
I dated an astrology girl once, so I learned all about it.
Okay, so you have some insight with the relationship with the astrology girl. So do you believe in all the signs and what, you know, if you go and read the paper and you see all the things, are you into it, or you're like, yeah, it could work with anybody?
A little bit of both. I definitely think it could work with anybody. But people tend to see what they want to see in those. But at the same time, there are some I'm like, wow.
Gotcha. Okay. You're like, that's really spot on. So there must be some hints. Okay. I feel.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some there's some, what do I call it? Like truth to it. Absolutely. But I definitely think some of them are a little like, okay, let's word it a certain way. But I definitely don't discount it 100%.
Okay, so would you direct your day by something you read in the paper?
Absolutely not.
Okay, that's mainly where I was going. Okay, I feel what you're saying though. Okay, let's talk location. Now you're currently in the big was it Texas?
Kansas City.
How did I get? I'm sorry, I apologize. You're in Kansas City. Wow, music, a lot of music there. How long have you been there, or are you originally from there?
So oddly enough, you have Nighthawk there in chat. That's my younger brother. Him
wow.
and I both were born in California, raised there, and then we moved to Kansas City in 2007.
Oh, well, okay, you've been there for a while. You've been there for a while. You're from the big Cali. What part of California were you in?
San Diego.
Wow, good weather. Good weather. Then you went out.
Yeah, but expensive.
Oh yeah, you're gonna pay for that niceness. So, okay, you've been in Kansas City for a long time. Do you go out and check out the music scene?
I've been to so many concerts, shows. It's ridiculous. That's kind of, so I actually have a tattoo on my forearm that says "Music is my savior." So, music to me is the universal language. It's one of the three things that I feel everybody has in common in the world. Everybody can relate on some level when it comes to music.
100%, man.
And that's why I think you and I have always vibed, right? Because I enjoy the music side. I enjoy just, that whole mindset. But music has helped me through some tough times. Think about it like when you're in a certain mood and you hear a certain song, it just makes everything better,
Yeah. It can fuck you up or it can make you feel great. It's crazy how that works.
Oh, I mean, I can literally count on my hands, or not even count on my hands. I can tell you, exact times I heard a certain song that triggered a certain emotion that just kind of let me get that emotion out in like a constructive way. And I was fine. Like, music, I definitely hold music very, very close to my heart. So.
No, I feel it. And I know it sounds cliche, but it's true. The part about music is the universal language, but from a music educator standpoint, like even if you play the stereo, like if you play a mean stereo, you can experience the emotional side. But if you do play an instrument and you're literate on it, it is a language that we all read because it's notation is notation around the world. There's like literally, it is one way, excluding like guitar tabs, but I'm talking like actual stuff. So it is pretty cool. You could have 20 different language speaking people in a room and you could all play the same piece and it would actually work out.
Yep.
So.
Yep. So I actually never could read music, but I taught myself to play piano and guitar.
Oh, nice.
When I was in my early 20s.
So what were you listening to for inspiration for like your guitar work?
So I like a lot of like the acoustic sounding music. So I had a lot of like heavier rock bands that did acoustic sets that I really enjoyed. And when I say guitar, I mean acoustic guitar.
Okay, gotcha.
I just really enjoy the natural raw sound of that. I just vibed off that. And a fun fact for everybody, if you've never played acoustic guitar, the hardest part about it is the strum technique, to be honest with you. Like putting your fingers in the right placement's easy, everything, but if you don't strum it right, it just does not sound right.
Yeah, once you get those nice calluses on your left hand, then it's like the next challenge. So do you just jam for yourself, or do you do like open mics, or have you performed like?
Oh, no. I mean, I perform on stream. I like to sing.
Oh, okay. You got you.
As far as like instrument wise, I never really took it anywhere. And right when I was really getting comfortable with it, like I always enjoyed piano. Violin's my favorite instrument ever. I picked a career and focused on the career instead.
Gotcha.
So kind of just like left music as far as playing it behind. But it definitely was.
Well, you have a love for it though, and that's the important part. And I always teach my music students that like you don't need to be New York's hottest jazz musician to appreciate the art. You could still have some kind of like conceptual idea in your mind what it means to you and experience it on some level. It's still important. We in the United States we have a cultural issue with beating some of the arts out of people as like it's a weird. It's like it's so separated in school. You got your academic subjects and then like arts and PE are like these weird subsets, so
cool.
Yeah,
the first thing they cut is the music.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
first thing they cut is any type of that. So
very familiar with that.
Yeah, and to me I think getting a little deep on this conversation, but I think it's the school system kind of prepping the kids for an adult world without creativity. They kind of are like forced, like most teachers will force the kids to learn a certain way, and they don't adapt to how the kid learns. And it teaches them to just be like a robot. And unfortunately, that's not how some people are successful. You gotta let them learn.
Yeah, that's now that could be
experiment that.
We could do a whole podcast just on that, because I got a lot of experience. I taught 11 years in the public school system. It's very it's very intense, but we'll save that one for another one. So you mentioned
it's a rabbit hole for sure.
Yeah. 100%. So you mentioned your brother moved to Kansas City with you. Was that just your brother, or any other family come out?
The entire family.
Oh, the entire family uprooted. Okay, gotcha.
My grandfather died when I was a freshman. So my mom wanted to be out here with her mom. So
okay, so
high school,
gotcha.
We all came.
Came
they
back.
Were like, you can stay in California if you want, but I'm like, no. $2,000 for a 1-bedroom, I'll pass.
Oh, that's pricey. So the grandparents, so the original roots are in Kansas City. Okay, that was actually my next question. So you answered that. So what kind of?
It's kind of weird how the roots are. Like my mom was born in California, and my grandfather was a truck driver, so they settled in Kansas City, but they started in California. On my dad's side, my roots actually come from Spain. So
oh, really?
My grandfather came, like his family, I believe his parents were from Spain, went to Mexico, and they came up into the United States.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you got quite the matriculation from a bunch of places there.
Yeah, to say the least.
To say the least. So what kind of work were the grandparents in?
So my grandfather on my dad's side, he was military. He was a Green Beret, went into like contracting and architecture. I mean, my grandfather's been everything. Like if you go into his house, he's got certificate after certificate on his wall.
Dang.
And then on my mom's side, and this is where the restaurant comes from, restaurants for my grandmother. My grandfather was a truck driver, but then helped her with the restaurant. So that's kind of what they did professional-wise.
I was about to ask how the restaurant stuff got into it. So it sounds like you caught on from there.
Yeah, basically I was born into the restaurants. My mom's been a GM for 15 years with Olive Garden, and worked with Olive Garden for 28 years, 29 years. Maybe.
Oh, well, that's a long time. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have your fair share of experience of working with the public.
Oh, my fair share for sure. I was in restaurants myself for I was 17, I'm 31, so 14 years.
Oh, wow, man. That's really intense. Before I declared music as my major, I thought I was going to be a hotel restaurant management. Like that's the major I thought I wanted to do. And then I quickly learned I was not able to do that. So hats off to you and your family.
It takes a very certain type of patience to do, restaurant work. And then with COVID on top of that, it was a whole nother beast.
So yeah, let's talk about the COVID on top of that thing right now. How has that affected you pre-COVID? Were you doing Twitch related and restaurant work in your IRL?
Not as focused. I actually left the restaurant industry in, I think it's been 6 months now.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, I left it just after restaurants started opening back up. Prior to that, I mean, it was rough. I mean, I literally dubbed the name COVID Karens because it was a different level of like just frustrations, man. Like, you think people were no longer complaining about your food or your service. They were complaining about person sitting, 5 feet, 11 inches away from them that was too close to them and wasn't wearing a mask because they were sitting down to eat.
Right. Yeah.
Out of your, it was a whole different beast.
I can't imagine that does sound pretty intense. So are you happier now that you're out of that?
I miss the camaraderie you get of working in a restaurant because there's nothing like working in a restaurant, the friends you make, the experiences you have. The restaurant industry, basically, I grew into a man through the restaurant industry. So like I was 17 when I started. I learned a lot of my life skills that I have now that apply to how I do things from the restaurant. So now I'm, no longer in it. That's the one thing I do miss is that camaraderie side. The people that you meet, but it was time. Like,
Gotcha.
I could tell it was time.
Sammy says the restaurants miss you too, but that makes sense. It's like a relationship where you work for a long time. Definitely forms you. It's foundation. It's a cookie cutter for well, it's more than a cookie cutter, but okay. I've got a small idea about where you're coming from, but we need to rewind a little bit. Let's talk about you as a child. What were you like as a kid? The laugh.
So I was always the smart kid that was bored, so I got in trouble a lot.
Oh.
A lot, because I had a lot of instances growing up where I already understood what we were going over. So because of that, I wanted to talk and laugh. I was in the gifted programs and just got in a lot of trouble because I was very talkative. I was always the center of attention.
I see. The teacher's favorite.
So I used to get in trouble from elementary school on until I met my 5th grade teacher, and she was one of the first teachers that adapted her teaching style to how I received information. And I still to this day am in touch with her. Like she is probably one of the best teachers I ever had. And then, once I went to high school, I went down the road of I thought sports was more important than graduating. So I let my grades slip. I thought I was going to be the next NFL star.
Did you play football in high school?
I played football, basketball, and ran track. So
oh, gotcha.
I was very athletic. The thing about California, though, is that unless you are one Olympic type runner, the next D1 prospect in any sport, you will not get seen.
Dang. So, very saturated athletic market out there.
Very, very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you became a streamer.
And then I'm a streamer, right? But once I realized that, I actually wound up graduating high school with 3.8. I turned it.
Oh
around.
shit! Hell yeah! Nice job, dude.
I took it serious. I realized I actually gave up football because my head coach at the time told me that if I did not switch my AP English class to his football PE class, that he would not let me play on his team. I said, well, all right then. Kudos. Have a good one.
Peace.
And that's a whole other story with my dad was a coach at the school, and that turned into an ugly situation between my dad and that coach. But
I can only yeah because your family, that's blood. You can't that's intense. Okay, I've got to ask because there's been a suggestion in the chat, so we need some dirt on maybe you and your brother. What's like the biggest fight you and your brother ever got into as a kid, not as an adult?
So as an adult, my brother and I haven't really fought. It's more so like as an adult, I'm trying to teach him life lessons because he's overcome a lot, and I'm really proud of him for doing so. But as a kids, oh dude, we fought all the time, all the time.
Is there like a spicy one, like something like you got some dirt that you want to shed to your community?
So Josh, when he was, I want to say 7 or 8, and I was 6 years old, so maybe 13, 14.
Okay.
He drew a knife on me.
Oh.
He was that mad. He grabbed a knife and pulled it on me. Well, needless to say, I took the knife from him pretty quickly. And to establish a statement of dominance over him, those clear plastic lids that go over like storage bins?
Yeah, I do.
I put that over the top of him and stabbed the knife into it and left it there and walked away.
Did you learn your lesson, younger brother? Probably.
Josh will be the first one to tell you that he has been petrified me ever since.
Damn, dude, that's pretty that's a pretty big age gap. So I imagine as a 7-year-old having that, reversed on him. Hey, but maybe you saved his ass from perhaps too quick of a temper when he's older and a knife was involved. So good job. I think that's the story the chat was looking for. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, we were kids, and brothers, they fight, they wrestle.
Oh shit, yeah.
There's stuff that we did all the time, and but at the end of the day, like only I was allowed to pick on him. So I got into a lot of fights growing up.
Gotcha.
Keeping my eyes on him. So
that's what you're supposed to do. That's good.
Only I'm allowed to pick on him, and I want everybody to know that.
He can take shit, but only from you. And if it's not from you, then it's going to be a problem. Okay, so if you were the serious athlete and the knife wielding fucking wild guy, how did video games come into your? Because I'm assuming you gamed as a kid. Is this an assumption? I might be wrong.
Yes. So My dad was actually a gamer. My dad held the world record in millipede in the world on the original arcade game.
Holy shit!
In like the 80s.
You guys in world records? What the fuck? Keep going. This is I'm enjoying this. Keep going.
So my dad is I think he's 53, 52.
Okay.
So he was in the 80s. He was in his teenage years, 17, 18. And millipede, he played Atari. And the first gaming system I guess I ever played was Super Mario.
Okay.
And I used to play with the controller upside down.
Well, why is that?
I guess that's just how my young self adapted to the game. That's why.
So you wanted inverted controls, literally.
Yep.
Okay. So this is NES, yeah? Or is this is this Super NES?
Yeah.
Or, okay, this is 8-bit.
This is NES, the original.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then I don't remember that, but my dad tells me the story and how funny it was.
Yeah, I bet it was funny. Shit.
But I remember the first gaming system I ever had bought for me, and I actually got games given to me based on good report cards, and just behaving at school, was Sega Genesis.
Oh yeah, baby. There we go.
Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
I loved it. What was it? Like you had the Aladdin, the Lion King, starting off. You had Sonic, so.
Sonic was a good time, man. That was a real good time.
Yeah, so Sega Genesis is where I got to start, and played games.
Hey, did you play some Altered Beast at all?
I've never heard of that one.
Oh shit, that was my first game I got for Sega Genesis. It was looking back, it doesn't hold up in the moment, I remember thinking that.
But at the time, it was probably the best game ever.
Oh, fucking A, dude. But Sonic, I do remember putting some hours into Sonic and getting real pissed when I would fuck stuff up. So yeah, I feel you on that. So if you had to pick over, well, I guess, you can't really compare 8-bit to Genesis. If you compared Super NES to Genesis, what would you pick?
Genesis to me is my starting point. It's kind of ironic that the name of the system is Genesis, but definitely got my roots in video games from that. So.
Okay, and how did that span into PC?
So I actually got my PC. Maybe I would ask Sammy because I bought my PC when she was like 8-9 months pregnant. So.
In late July, she says.
Yeah, there you go.
Shit. Okay, this is really new. Okay.
Yeah, I've always played on PS4, PlayStation. It was always my thing. Final Fantasy X is my favorite game of all time. And the only reason why I got the PC is because I started taking streaming serious. I was streaming from a 2011 Apple Mac computer initially.
Really?
Producing a whopping 17 frames per second.
Those must have been popping streams right there, dude.
Oh yeah, me, Nightbot, and Sammy, and Josh, and one of our good friends, Ryan. They were the best.
That's wow, dude. That's quite the flip from only console to the computer you just described to suddenly, boom, you are a PC gamer. So you had to learn mouse and keyboard pretty intensely, pretty quickly.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's a huge, for me, I can remember exactly where I was. I was playing Quake 1 in 1996 using the arrow keys, and so the dude I was playing was typing in chat, and he was like, "You're not using the mouse, are you?" I was like, "Fuck no, why would I do that?" And he's like, join the club. And that was that long ago. You just made the switch like less than a year ago. This is insane. This is a good set of information.
So the streaming I actually started streaming on PS4 when Blackout became popular.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That makes sense.
Call of Duty on PS4. So I actually became affiliate like 2 years ago playing Blackout. I was really good at Blackout. And I was married at the time, and I had affiliate, got a logo made, got my first emote made. It was awesome. I was like, oh my goodness, I can start monetizing this can actually help us if I get big enough. I'm looking at it from not a content side, which ultimately
yeah, I understand.
Much more to just turning on your console and playing games.
Yeah, it's a job for sure.
I didn't quite understand that at that point. I was just turning on the PC, or not PC, but the PS4, and playing video games. So she decided she didn't want me to do it anymore.
Mm.
I was making that's a whole nother rabbit hole, but basically didn't like the fact that my attention was 100% on her. So I gave it up. I was going to be the good husband. I was going to make her happy, you know, make sure that I was a good father, and you know, I did whatever she asked. Absolutely. So when I came back to streaming, you're basically starting from ground zero again, right? Because I came back April 27th was my official first stream back to Twitch after like a year and a half off.
That's hard to do because the Twitch world has kept moving while you've been stagnant.
Oh yeah, I've seen people that I used to network with back 2 years ago that were the same size as me that are partners now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you'll catch back up, man. I mean, at least you're back, and it's never good to, I mean, we don't need to go down this rabbit hole right now, but it's obviously never good to try to squeeze a man of his passions. Never healthy for a relationship, but I'm glad to see that, you know,
my advice is just my quick 5-second advice to anybody in a relationship: enjoy the things that you love and do them often, because it'll ultimately help you in your relationship.
That's good advice. I'm going to take a quick time out here to address Sick Man. So when are you going to play some Jackbox? Well, not right now, Sick Man. We are interviewing That1GuyD, which his link is right here. Check out his stream. But we will some other time, Sick Man. All right, so I'm learning about you. I'm enjoying this. So Sega Genesis, you're an athlete, other consoles, PlayStation, a little bit of rocky stuff with the IRLs, and then sudden just spurt. I now am a PC gamer. That is amazing. Let's rewind a little bit back to high school. What kind of car was your first ride?
I didn't get my first car until I moved to King City.
Roger that. Okay, what was the first ride?
It was a 2001 Saturn, 2-door.
Who makes Saturn again? Or is it Saturn?
I don't.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm not a car guy. 2-door.
Sammy is. She might know.
Sammy can read you off the. It's that. Okay,
Saturn
yeah.
Makes Saturn.
It's that. Okay. Yeah. Hey, who makes Ford? Ford. Sorry, Sammy. Hope I didn't diminish in your eyes there. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever, man. I drive to gigs. It is what it is. Anyway.
Yeah. No, it was a Saturn. I totaled it going 20 miles an hour. Airbags didn't even deploy, and it shattered the frame.
How the fuck do you total a car at 20 miles an hour?
Because it was stop and go traffic on one of the major highways out here. I was looking at the giant big rig behind me that had what looked like a nuke on its back. So I was looking at that when we were in stop and go. And the truck in front of me with a steel bumper got cut off, and my car went underneath his truck, and it snapped the frame and bent my hood all the way back to the windshield. Oh my god, dude. Okay, sorry. I take my 20 mile an hour laughing comment back. That sounds actually kind of freaky. You know, in the I look back at it, really, it wasn't that big a deal. But at the time, oh my goodness, you want to talk about high nerves? Yeah, I bet, man. I was afraid this nuke was about to hit me. I didn't even care about wrecking my car. I was afraid of the nuke. Oh man. Okay. So, sorry, I'm kind of time warping here, but you're giving me such good stuff. Okay, what is your favorite, your highlight of early gaming? I'm talking pre-streaming. Let's think about what is a moment that was a high video game moment for you, way before Twitch. When you say high, my favorite game, I guess the interpretation could be up to you. Maybe I'm did you have a ridiculous back in the day of LAN parties, or I mean, my friends, we used to bring consoles over and multiple TVs and nerd out like that, and those were some fun moments. I guess it's up to your interpretation of what that means. So my highlight, I guess I never really had a quote unquote highlight, so to speak. I mean, I could say I remember when we had a Dreamcast, which they stopped making pretty quickly after they released it, but it was so far ahead of its time. I mean, I think that's kind of what drove home my love for what video games could do. Okay. Because some of the games on that system were incredible and way ahead of what the time that. I remember the Dreamcast. I remember it. Oh, yeah. I love the Dreamcast. Josh will laugh at this, but we used to sneak when we got that first PS2 and Jack and Daxter came out. My dad was very big, this is my PS2, you guys can play it on certain times. But the shit is mine. Yeah, so I used to get home before my dad did at 5. I would get home at 3, and I would play games until he pulled up, and I would always get in trouble for playing the PS2 because my kid self never thought to check the back of the TV for being hot.
Oh, my controller's warm. What's going on here?
Yeah, my dad would walk in, feel the back of the TV, knew I had been playing, and he was like, "Well, you're grounded."
He's like, "I understand it, but I don't want you doing it." That's
Yep.
That's amazing. Okay, so talking about kids, we already know the story about the plastic bin and the knife. What's the most funny story from your youth?
From my youth, I don't know if I necessarily have I can't think of like a funny story per se.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was always happy as a kid. I did have my bouts with like anger issues, like any angsty 12-year-old would.
Of course.
But you know, I don't necessarily think I had really funny moments I can remember. I just remember, you know, not being unhappy growing up. Like I had a very loving family. My mom and dad were very ooh, Josh is right, the website. I bought a website for like $300.
Wait, okay, you gotta tell us about this. We gotta hear about this.
So I had a old PC when I was in high school. That was my dad's that he gave me.
Okay.
And I didn't play games on it. I literally just like browse the internet. There was a website called Otaku Boards, and it was like a forum website that I spent a lot of time on.
Okay.
And so I contacted the owner of the website, the guy that was the admin. Was like, "Hey, how did you build this website?" And it's not like derogatory or anything. It was more so like, "Hey, how do you build this website?"
Oh, right, yeah.
It's super cool. I would love to start this. Like, how do you do that? And he told me where to get one, like what the system to buy, and this. I'm like, "Oh, awesome." Well, my dad, being old school as he was, wrote all his passwords to every login, whether it was the bank, to PayPal, to this, to that, on the back of this notebook.
Oh.
So I had access to his PayPal and bought a $300 website.
Holy shit! This is an amazing story, dude. What was the repercussion of that when the receipt was seen?
That computer didn't last. Didn't last. My dad definitely got an email immediately. There was no getting away with that one.
Yeah.
But they got their money back. They
Gotcha.
contacted everybody. It was no big, like, they got it back. But the point was that I had access to all that. They were like, "Holy cow, like, you were able to figure all this out?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was on the back of a note card." Like,
yeah, Dad, you might want to upgrade your fucking security protocols here, Pops.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it, dude. This is a great story. Okay, well, let's talk about Dead by Daylight, because obviously that's what all your viewers see you doing the most. Tell me about, just tell me about your stream. And so if we got people from my community that have never seen your stream, just tell me about, like, we obviously know you play DBD, but like, let's just sell us on what you do.
So I'm a killer main, as we established earlier. You know, I play all killers except for twins, because twins are the worst killer on the planet.
Okay.
I take myself way too serious. As far as like
well, what does that mean? What does way too serious mean?
So because of these tournaments that I've done, the showdowns that I've done, I've gotten this mindset lately, and it's something I'm working on, that I should 4K every single match.
Okay.
And that's not the case. And you witnessed it, you know, recently. I was really down on myself for that, but you know, I really enjoy the mental aspect of playing killer, and I enjoy being good. Like, I don't know how else to explain that. Like, and I think I can be. I'm definitely able to be beat. I'm not playing great all the time. You know, like I definitely lose, but because of me doing well against these higher tier survivors, like, I'm like, okay. Like, mentally, I'm like, oh, I lost. Like, I can't lose. What I do wrong? So I overanalyze everything.
Gotcha. No, because you like to win. Scorpio, thanks for the follow. But let me ask you a question real quick. Why? I mean, I'm going to go ahead and comfortably say that most survivors want to do all the gens. So why is it wrong for you to want to get a 4K? Devil's advocate.
Why is it wrong for me to
or
want
why
to?
Is it why is that? Like, walk me through your thought process on that and why you need to talk yourself out of that thought as being there.
Because so on a tournament level, so something I'm trying to get into is like the actual competitive scene. So on a competitive level, they go off hook states, not actual kills. So
okay.
everything I've watched, 9 hook states is actually not bad.
Gotcha.
You don't even have to kill him.
So you'd rather, so basically you're saying you're aligning your inner self with focusing on that rather than getting tilted on the other shit.
Yeah. Okay. And I think
that makes sense.
And then the fact that, when I get beat, I'm the type of killer that when I lose, I didn't lose because of what they did. I lost because of what I didn't do. So I take the blame of that.
Gotcha.
And once I started realizing that as I was learning the game, my skill level as far as how I felt, how I played killer, went through the roof because I started looking at how I could play differently to be more efficient as a killer, so to speak.
Understandable. Sith Lady, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Okay, so let me ask you this. You're getting into, since you're talking about the tournaments and the world record 4Ks, you're getting into this. How many, well, I know the answer because you've told me, but the people in the chat might not. Why don't you talk about the 4K records that you have right now?
So I don't have any world records currently, but I have 13 top 10 times with 13 different killers.
Oh, you have 13 top 10 times, but not any. How does that work? Walk us through that.
So there is a website called speedrun.com that keeps track of all
Speedrun. Hold on, let me type it in the chat in case anyone wants to go to this. Speedrun.com.
Here, I'll pull it up.
And Scorpio, thanks. Hell yeah, thanks for the gift subs and the subs. I appreciate it. Perfect timing while he's getting the
Score 91 Pio gifted un sub to Fox Slay.
This is their first gift sub in the channel. I was told by one of my good friends, who's been kind of my mentor on streaming and on DVD, to check out a killer named Super Alf. And he had the fastest 4K for Nurse. So when I started seeing that, it led me down a rabbit hole of like, I can do this. Like
you were inspired.
Yeah, I can finish games really fast. And for the competitive side of me, it brought a whole different element to the game of DBD. Like I was excited, like, let's see how fast I can finish this game. And that again plays into my thought process of, okay, I need to 4K this game. And that, like I said, that's something I'm working on because I know I'm going to lose. I'm 100% going to lose. I lose all the time.
Thank you, Scorpio.
But, I definitely think that I need to. I don't know, it's crazy.
Okay, so hold on. So let me react to a couple things you've said. Okay. So hold on. Scorpio, I got the BaddaBoom. No, what are you talking about? I'm also just talking over the bot from the gift sub here. Okay, so when you're going for this record, you have to get them down super quick. Do you play a different way versus if you were just like, if you're gonna play a pub tonight later on, would you be like, eh? Or would you be like, I'm practicing for the 4K?
So would you believe me if I told you I have not tried to go for a speedrun yet?
They're just happening.
Yeah.
So organically it's working out, so don't fuck with the system is what I'm understanding.
So I have yet to actually gear my perk set when I go into a game to go for a speedrun.
What is sorry, I started to interrupt you, but what is if someone is gearing for a 4K run, what kind of perks are they going to run? I think this is the crucial information right here.
Haunted Grounds, Barbecue, Retribution, Infectious Fright.
What does Retribution do again?
If I remember right, Retribution, when cleansed a totem, it shows the survivors for so many seconds. And then if they cleanse the actual Retribution totem, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, we'll have to look it up. But it's one that you would run. Okay, understood.
It basically they're information telling perks. So if somebody cleanses Haunted Grounds and then cleanses Retribution, you know where everybody's at immediately.
Understood. So you're telling me your natural gameplay is just kind of organically lining up to get with these fast times, which is great. No bad. Thanks for the follow.
I mean, like I said, I don't necessarily say I organically do it. I take what the game gives me. So if I go into a match, I set my gear, like, do I put Haunted Grounds on? Sure. But I don't 100% buy into let's get this game done in 2 minutes. I look at it as, hey, if I get it within 2 minutes, cool. But if not, I'm still trying to win the game late game. So I'm not completely, cut off because my perks were geared towards the beginning of the game. I'm still trying to win it, whether I get it at the beginning of the game or I get it when they've got all gens done.
So if you're going for a timed record of get the 4K out, are you slugging?
You have to.
You have to. Okay, so you wouldn't necessarily slug all the time in a regular game, though, yeah?
No. If I know that the record's close, I will. But if I'm not even close to it, I just play the game.
Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Sorry, go ahead.
And I'm very. No, you're fine. You still got to do your thing. I get it.
Yep.
I'm very much a big believer in don't tunnel, don't camp the hook. Like I said, I don't slug unless it is at that beginning point of the game.
Gotcha.
In the showdown, I actually saw a couple survivors running that I could have went and forced out of the game, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to tunnel. I'm going to go take this person over here.
Understood. I'm dude. I have like a whole mantra about no tunneling, no slugging, or no camping. Like it's part of it. I mean, I'll take a lot of L's over it because I just feel like it's a shitty way to play the game as killer. But I imagine in the tournaments, that side is trying to do their shit as quick as possible, and you're trying to do your shit as quick as possible, and that perhaps it's not as friendly as a pub.
So from a showdown perspective, I still held that to how I play the game.
Okay.
I played the game the way I play it. I didn't tunnel. I made sure that I didn't slug. I actually lost my second game because I didn't slug. If I would have slugged, I'd win that game. But I didn't, and I played it. I felt very fair. I didn't camp the hooks. I played the game the way it's supposed to be played, and let them have their fun too. And I lost the game because of it. I still killed 2 people.
I like it.
In the showdown, you have to kill 3 to win.
Oh, okay.
And now when I say tunnel, I suffer from an issue, and I don't want this to come off wrong, where I will hook a survivor. I will go after another survivor. And then once I've hooked them, I've actually completely forgotten who I went after the previous hook. So if the first person I see, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go after them.
Relatable,
I'm
dude.
not purposely going after them.
Yeah, sometimes they fall through the cracks. No, I get it. I have to say the name out loud, otherwise I will do it. Smitty, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm like you. I'd rather have my reputation be good, but take an L, but know that it's a game that we all pretty much had an even chance at, Yeah,
absolutely. Like, if I wanted to, I could tunnel somebody out for 6 seconds of the game. We've all been there as a survivor.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's not fun at all.
That happened to us.
Yeah, it's not fun at all.
Like, you're raging. It brings out a side of you that's awful. Like, it's just not a good time.
Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it.
From a competitive, so like the competitive side, so there's 2 different killers that I could play. I could play the competitive side, where I tunnel somebody out and then I make the game 3v1, right?
Okay.
That's how they play it sometimes. But I like to consider myself a future tournament killer that plays the game the way it's supposed to be played.
I love it, dude. I respect the hell out of that. That is, I aspire to be like you. That is very good. So,
nah,
I've got a question for you.
Like I said, I'm just a dude playing a dude killing other dudes.
I love how it all revolves back to that. Okay, so if anyone was wondering though, that was also maybe they're hearing you talk about the 4K timing thing. And they're like, well, I kind of want to do that. With that link that you posted in there, could you drop it again actually and talk about what's the process that you have to do to prove that you've gotten this time?
So when I say I have these times, I always make sure I put emphasis on recorded, because it has to be recorded. So I'm sure there are faster 4Ks out there, but it has to be a recorded 4K.
And do you upload your video evidence to the site?
Yes.
With the timer on it? What's up, Fiery Pigs? So we're going to pause right here. That1GuyD. 1 second as the sub. It's all good, man. It's all good. They just won't be able to hear you.
No, you're good. So
Pigs, thank you, sir. All right, go ahead.
So if you're doing this so if you're on stream and you do this,
yeah,
you don't need to use a timer because there's the VOD timer on the bottom, right?
Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But if you're just playing off stream, you have to have a timer on the screen for it to count.
And then when I say that makes sense. Yeah.
And then when I say I've gotten these times, if you get a DC in your match, nullified.
Ah, so it's got to be a regular match, 100%.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. That's good though. Otherwise, that's kind of bullshit. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, can't have any AFKs, so they have to actually actively be playing the game.
How does one know if you're searching the map for survivors? How do they know if you're AFK?
Obviously, if you play the game, there's the birds that circle over the tops of their heads.
Right.
or if you hook them and they don't when they go into the second state and they don't struggle, they give up on hook.
Gotcha.
Stuff like that.
No problem. That makes sense. Okay, so I think we got that squared away. What are your 4 top killer perks?
4 top killer perks?
Yeah.
Barbecue is number 1, hands down.
Okay.
For the aspect of information you can receive from it, and 2, blood points. Everybody loves blood points. So, barbecue for sure. I run a lot of corrupt intervention. I feel like that perk from Plague is arguably one of the best perks in the game because it helps you locate where survivors are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I'm a big believer in thanatophobia.
Mm-hmm.
But again, perks are 100% dependent on your play style. I'm very good at keeping people injured, so it helps me slow down the gens.
That makes sense.
And then number 4, I'm trying to think of what. Surge has become one of my favorite perks to run.
Is that the one where is it when you kick or when you down somebody?
When you down with an M1, it regresses the gens within so many feet, 8%. And then obviously, if you're not working on a gen actively for a certain amount of time, they automatically regress on top of that. Oh,
there you go.
So yeah, Surge has become, and when I say best, I'm using it relative to what I enjoy to run.
That's what. Sorry, I should have specified. That's when I use the word best. That's what I'm asking. Yeah. It's for you. It's your play style. So okay, same question for Survivor. I know you're like me. You just kind of dabble in Survivor, but what are your go-to for your play style for when you're playing Survivor?
Oh, head on, quick and quiet, inner strength, and iron will.
I like how instant those answers were in comparison to the killer, considering you're actually killer main. That's hilarious. Love it, dude.
Well, so I used to run a lot of pop goes the weasel with killer, but I am really bad at kicking gens.
Okay.
So I decided instead of just running 3 perks every match because I don't kick gens, I needed to put a perk in there that was relative to my play style. Hence, Surge. There's a lot of perks I enjoy playing around with. Like I like what I've done since I have very little hours compared to a lot of people in this game that are at the skill level that I feel I've kind of approached.
Okay.
They all have every perk available, right? I was a big believer when Ruin Undying was the meta. I refused to run it.
I love it.
I did not want to run it.
Good. I like that.
I've always done very well with unconventional builds because it's what I had to work with because I don't have every killer perk down. So I experiment with a lot of different builds, like a build that'll blow your mind. Build I ran in the community showdown.
What is
Barbecue,
it? Yeah.
Dying Light.
Okay.
Huntress Lullaby, and what was that other perk? I'm All Ears.
I'm All Ears is fun.
Yeah, like nobody in a million years would have ever put that perk build together, and it worked.
I'm gonna have to, man. Huntress Lullaby can get real nasty once there's 5 tokens on there. I'm failing that left as a survivor. I'm missing. If I'm looking at chat and stuff, I'm missing that all day. So I can see why that would be really good. I'm
missing at 1.
That's pretty funny. Okay, my next question. I know the answer to, but maybe you can pick a second one. It initially is which killer will you not play with? And I know it's the twins because you mentioned that earlier. Do you have a second killer that you tend to avoid?
Twins number 1, hands down. I will never play.
Okay.
I absolutely cannot stand them. I don't enjoy the mechanic that they're built to run, and that is slugging and camping. Not my play style.
Gotcha.
The other killer that I don't really enjoy playing is probably Myers.
Okay. Do you have a reason for that?
Because I'm a fat, I play the game very aggressively and fast.
Yeah.
And it's worked for me. His gameplay is very slow.
It's like a snowball for sure.
Yeah, he's a late game killer. You have to build up on that tier 3, and the next thing you know, everybody's down.
Yeah, that's a good point. So you don't like it. Don't try to force a gameplay style into your hands. You just go past it. Makes sense to me. Do you feel, even though all the survivors are basically the same person, just with different orientations of perks, do you run one because you like the cosmetic of them more than the other?
Oh, I'm 100% a Nia main. 100%.
Oh, you're a Nia. Okay, well, that was an easy question. Okay.
So there's a reason why.
Okay, why? Why is that?
So when I first started with DBD, I actually was a survivor main.
Oh.
Not a very good one.
Okay.
I played on PS4, was not a very good survivor. I did get to red ranks on PS4. It was maybe like 50 hours worth of survivor. So like I was like, oh cool, I'm red rank. That means nothing, by the way. With my old logo, it's always been geared around the paint cans, the graffiti style. And my old logo was that way. It had paint cans in the background. He had a face mask on. And Nia, her cosmetic with the paint cans on the backpack, the graffiti shirt that she wears, it was just like, she's the cosmetic that fits.
That makes sense. So there you go. That's
so
yeah.
I only run her.
There you go. Okay. I was going to ask you about your logo. I actually forgot to ask you in the beginning, but now that kind of ties in and it makes complete sense. So
this logo here, I felt like with the first logo I had was done 2 years ago.
Okay.
And this logo I had done maybe a month ago, and I felt it was time to upgrade the logo because I'm not the same streamer I was then. And I felt like this was more of a kind of serious but still pays tribute to the old style for the like tournament type stuff.
An augmentation. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes complete sense. Did you hire an artist for that, or did you do it yourself?
Artist.
Yeah. It looks really good, man.
Her name's Liz Khalifa. She did all my emotes, did my logo. She's pretty awesome.
Nice. Well, good job. Good selection. Okay, without delving into a 10-hour answer, how do you feel about the changes?
The most recent ones or the one before this patch?
I'm going to sum it. You and I have talked offline a little bit about the sensitivity of community. Just changes.
So overall. Just
overall.
The state of the DVD directory.
Yeah, if you will.
Okay, so I think that when you come and see me when I'm playing DVD, what you're saying is what you get. I've got nothing to hide. I've got nothing. I wear who I am on my sleeve, and I'm not going to hide that from anybody.
Okay.
You know, with so much negativity coming to the game based on certain content creators having skeletons in their closet, and then mixing that with the negativity of the hitboxes and the desync that just came with the major backlash of that. You know, I try to stay positive about it all. You know, what's happening with the other content creators, you know, that's on them. Do what they need to do. You know, they made bad choices. They need to respect, or they need to deal with that their consequences of those choices. But if they truly want to change, and you and I have talked about this, then by all means, change for the better. I believe it. You want to change, do it. But if you're doing a true change, good. But if you're doing it just so that your numbers go back up, you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Right. But we also need to allow people to change too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. People deserve the chance to change.
Yeah, 100%.
And I hate to put my brother on the spot, but if you would have talked to my brother 6 months ago, people would have looked at him and said, you made some bad choices. And he has been given the chance to change, and he has changed his life around for the better.
Everyone faces, I agree with you 100%. Everyone faces some adversity at some point. And of course, sometimes that spotlight is, you know, personal within a family, or sometimes very, very large.
Exactly. And, you know, do I by any means condone the decisions that were made on the others? And, you know, we won't go into that.
Yeah,
no, not at all. But if they truly do feel bad about that, they'll seek the help they need to do to find peace within themselves to make the right changes for that.
I think that's a pretty positive approach to have. That's also realistic and just, you know, mature. I dig it. So
yeah, you know, people are people. We've all made bad choices throughout our lives.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. If the curtain's pulled back, everyone's going to be vulnerable at some point. So, you know. Yeah,
absolutely. But as far as like the negativity that's behind the current state of the game, I think that this last patch was really good. The one that came out Tuesday. I definitely think that the desync has been addressed to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
There's still some funny hits for sure, but you know, my thing is when that last patch came out, I was like, you know, we already know how it's going to be. You know, it is what it is. We can complain all we want. I don't mind the new HUD. It didn't bother me, or the new UI. You know, it was, to me, I understood why the desync was a frustration.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's different though.
And for people that don't understand what I mean by desync, people contributed the desync to hitboxes. the hitboxes were never an issue. It was the desync of the servers between the killer and the survivor.
Yeah, correct.
So a lot of people just said, "Oh, the hitbox is wrong."
Well, I think hitbox is a kind of a money word. Like it's a word that everyone knows, you know.
So I feel like, you know, educating on that level, just kind of like, hey, this is what was wrong.
Yeah.
And so the desync definitely being addressed was the big issue, and that was my only complaint. But I was like, but it's what we've got.
They've been pretty transparent on it, you know, as far as like this is going to be fixed. Yeah. No, I feel it.
Exactly. Like I know what to expect. I'm not going to quit the game over it. They're going to fix it.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah. Like it is what it is. Move on. The end. Next patch. Hey, look, desyncs fixed.
Yep. There you go. Okay. So moving on from that, because I didn't want to get too far because I mean, you and I have talked, but I just wanted, you know, maybe I'm sure your community has heard you, but what are your stream goals? What's coming up next?
So like so every streamer has their statistical goal. Every streamer has their partner goal. I would like to think, you know, every streamer has like their community goal. So like my statistical goal, well, beginning of the year, my goal was to hit 1,000. No, I can't remember. I think my goal was to hit like 800 followers at the beginning of the year, and we hit like 1,000 in no time.
Oh shit! There you go.
And or my goal was to hit it by like May or something like that. I can't remember. It like literally the amount of support I've gotten from people for playing the way I am, being who I am as a person, has definitely all of a sudden just like escalated quickly, which is super cool. Because you know, even when you and I met, it was 1K by May. There we go. When you and I met, we were I was like a 5 to 10 viewer streamer, maybe.
I can't recall, to be honest. Yeah, I don't remember.
When and the person that found you was Sammy.
Oh, you know, yeah, I do. I think I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I was just trying to like learn Twitch and learn the game of Dead by Daylight. And you know, my mindset when it came to community was, you know, I always played video games growing up as just kind of like my escape from reality. Like I'm in this fantasy world where I can be whoever I want to be. I can do whatever I want to do and enjoy it and just get lost, right? Because you and I both know you can play video game for hours and not even realize it.
Yeah. It's, unfortunately, that's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a problem. So, you know, with that being said, took that and I applied that philosophy into my streams. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from, what your orientation is, what your religion is, what you believe here, what you believe there, what you've got going on in your life. If you're coming into my stream, you're coming into an area where you're able to just forget about the troubles that are of life and just enjoy gameplay, whether you're playing it or you're watching it with other people that are doing the same things, and they're not judging you for it. They don't care about you. Like they care about you, but they don't care about the details that people judge you for.
Right. It's stipulation free. You can be yourself and just okay, I like it.
Yeah, like just come in, be yourself, and you know, we're gonna love you for it. And if you're not like, and let's be honest, we've had some people come in, not be good people. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Like I ain't got time for that. Like come in, be constructive to what you're providing to the community. Otherwise, you don't need to be here. And so really my goal from the community standpoint is just continue to foster that idea, not lose sight of that. Because, you know, it's really easy as you start to grow exponentially to lose sight of where you started off at.
That's a well said sentence right there. It's very easy. So I've got 2 more questions for you. Okay. My second to last question is this: how can we help you with your stream? Is there anything that you're looking for with assistance on? Anything that you're designing from your community? Like, is there anything that you're wanting? You got something up the sleeve, but you just want some assistance with it?
I guess I've not really thought about that. I'm just kind of, you know, like I said, my mindset is just I take it a day at a time. I need to my advice for anybody coming up through streaming, turn off your view count.
Did you find that help you?
Yeah. So I'm gonna plug somebody that is my mentor. His name is Running Man. He is also a DBD streamer, but he's a partnered streamer. He has taken me under his wing and given me a lot of streaming advice. And you know, not very many people will do that as a partnered streamer. And the number one thing he told me when I was starting out was he asked me a few questions first. He asked me 4 questions that I have saved to this day about streaming. And then secondly, he said, turn off your view count. Quit associating.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
He said, quit associating yourself and your self-worth to a number because you're going to be so obsessed with the number instead of creating content that you're not going to grow because people can tell when you're stressing about a number. That's
a good point. I mean, it's fucked with me before for sure because it hits you in the chest a little bit. No, I think it's good advice.
Yeah, like a new streamer is watching that number. They're trying to get to that 3 average, right? Trying to get that affiliate. But when you turn that number off, you know, you're not paying attention to who's in the room. You're just being yourself and vibing and enjoying what you're doing. And that's the other thing. Enjoy the game you're playing. Don't play a game because it's popular. Play the game you want to play, and people are going to be magnetized to your personality if you've got a personality to offer. You know, and another thing, and I hate to be blunt about it, but streaming's not for everybody.
No, it's not. It definitely isn't. Yeah, you're 100% right.
Yeah, like I thrive with the fact that I think that I'm very open and I try to be as caring as I can, you know, and I'm not gonna change who I am. You know who you're gonna get. That's kind of my big thing. Like I am who I am.
Yeah, it's like
hate me.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's like it's like a YouTube. It's this weird new thing, you know. I grew up with like TV shows, and like the only people that had access to being an entertainer, people that were booked by agents or had some kind of talent, you know, stuff going on. And now it's like, you know, anybody has access to this. And I like that you said it's not for everybody, because my analogy is always like, you know, you roll down to the guitar store, you buy a guitar, and then you're suddenly pissed off while you don't have a gig. It's like, well, there's a lot of study and a lot of stuff that goes into like buying the instrument before you're actively performing on it, and there's a whole, you got to like live that. Okay, dude, it's been awesome having you on here. If anybody in my community has not seen the link, I've been spamming it. There it is. Go over and give That1GuyD, Mr.
David,
a follow. I can't wait till we're out of COVID, man. I can actually meet you in real life and like go to some cons and go to some PAXs, whatever, and like chill out. And you know, you can buy your tequila, and I'll buy my Jägermeister, my rum and coke.
I'll buy you a shot of Jaeger anytime.
Yeah, well, maybe 2 or 3. Yeah, well, let's amp it up here a little bit. I like to have fun. I'm the annoying loud guy, but
you got the Italian blood, I got the Spanish blood.
There you go. Yeah,
some interesting drinking.
Yeah, we won't piss off anybody in the bar. It'll be totally calm. Nothing bad will happen of it. Okay, I have one question left for you that has been kind of fed to me to ask you, and it is, I got to bring the music down. What is it like using Mouse 1 as the Huntress, David? I need to know.
It's called Iron Maiden value. That's what I'm telling you. Okay.
I had to ask that.
Jumps into a locker in your face while you have Iron Maiden and they jump out, you have to take advantage of their full health state. They were at a full health state. I had to do it. I
had to ask you. And hey, I'm a Billy Main. I'll chainsaw people's faces off, but I will M1 when I need to M1. And I don't gatekeep, dude. If you got an M1, you get an M1. Survivors sit on a fucking gen and just hit the action button, and we'll do nothing except stare at the fucking generator until it's done. That's funny.
Insight to that whole second game. So as you know, Spooky Loops, I pay a lot of respect to him for Showdown. I've gained a lot of notoriety, so to speak, because of that, right? Or people have found me because of that now. But that second game was 100% for the fans. 100%.
Good.
Trying to get his community riled up because he's a Huntress main.
Yeah, no, I get it, dude.
Huntress better than anybody I've seen. And he does an M1. So I 100% M1'd on purpose to get him fired up.
Yeah, man. Who do you think asked me to ask you the question? I mean, come on.
Oh, I guarantee you Spooky did.
Yeah, he did. It's beautiful. I was like, oh, I can't wait to get to this.
I love that, man.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
I'm really glad that I found that community, you know, and I'm really glad that you and I have, fostered this respect and friendship that we have.
Hell yeah, man.
You know, I didn't come into this game to try to get people to like. Networking to me is not just trying to boost your numbers. Networking to me is about building relationships, having friends, and you all coming up together.
Yep.
Like
100%,
it's not
dude.
It's not about what can you do for me. It's about what can we do to grow together to be there. If I vibe with you, you vibe with me. Why can't we grow together? I'm excited for your bullshit. You're excited for my bullshit. It's our bullshit now. You know what I mean?
No, I feel it. Well, and there's one you got to watch out because there's a lot of people that don't try to network that way. The the fake networking. But hey, man, I feel 100%.
Absolutely.
I echo it. I completely echo it with you. But dude, we're gonna wrap it up here. That hour and 20 just flew by. Like they always fly by, man. I say 45, it never's 45. That's bullshitting myself. But
when you got a good conversation, it's easier to keep talking. I mean, we could probably continue this for the next 3 hours.
Oh, easily, dude. Fucking easily. Does anybody in the chat have questions for that one guy D that you want to ask? Ask him now. Nighthawk says, give him a kiss from me. Nighthawk isn't that? Wait.
That's my younger brother.
Yeah, that's, I mean, hey, bro. You want to get the knives out or what?
I'll just slap the shit out of him. It's fine.
Oh, shit. Okay. Chat, you got any questions?
Nah.
I think you're being let off the hook here. Dude, I've loved every second of it. Can you use more than one charge with Bubba? There's a question from okay, so clearly there's some Bubba stuff. You know, I don't like Bubba that much, to be honest, you know, but
I just learned that Bubba can use more than one charge.
Oh, like the feathering and like
when you're charging with Bubba and you use his power,
yeah,
you can click M2.
Oh, right, yeah,
power's at 25%. You get
thank you, Scorpio.
Charges.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
go ahead, sorry.
No, I had been playing Bubba with one charge.
Hey, man. It took my chat to tell me too. It 100% took my chat to tell me as well. I was like, oh, fuck, I use the other chainsaw guy. Scorpio, thank you much for the gifted sub. I appreciate it. Also, it's been super nice to meet all of your community that's come out and hung out in here with us. And what are you playing tonight? Are you going to bed? I know you're in the future, bro. It's like midnight for you.
It is what, 12:19. So what I do on nights I take off is I actually work till about 2 in the morning.
Get some edits on and stuff.
Yeah, and I just kind of peruse Twitch and hang out and chat with people and just have a good time and just kind of relax. I'll maybe play a game or two, just kind of keep, the mind fresh. But, I take the day because I 100% believe that taking days off from streaming is really important for your mental because
big time, man.
People understand like it's tough on your brain, to be live for X amount of hours. So I kind of use this to just kind of get caught up with work and relax.
I feel it, dude. Yeah, I just changed my schedule from streaming way too many nights a week, staying up way too late, and then getting up and teaching middle school and high school online. I'm too old for that shit, dude. I was really paying the price. I'm down to only 3 nights a week now and a Friday afternoon and an occasional weekend stream. It's going to be a lot better. I'm already getting a lot more work done, but I feel what you're saying. I am going to play some Survivor tonight, so if you find yourself looking for a game, hop on in. But I'm going to.
If you want me to, I'll hop on, no problem.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna get some water. I'm gonna go to my AFK, but I want to say thank you again to you and thank you to your community. And yeah, man, this has been awesome. And thanks for being part of the revival of the BaddaBoom Room. And I want to get this going back to at least, I say realistically twice a month, maybe 3 times, but I know myself. I have a lot of ideas. So
yeah, no, anytime you need anything, let me know, Tony. I got you, bro.
Thanks, man. This has been awesome. Thank you for coming in, and I will see you tonight with some Survivor. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet, dude. All right, take it easy, man.
Yep, we'll catch you
Bye-bye.
later.